What's up, everybody? It's your boy TGK back with another video. Today we're going to react to a YouTuber named Mike Hoops. He titled a video, Mavs fans are turning on Luka Doncic. So we're going to see exactly who is turning on Luka Doncic, see what he got. So I've never heard of this creator before, but I'm always looking forward to find new creators that are putting basketball content out there. And this is related to the Dallas Mavericks. So I'm a Dallas Mavericks channel. So we're going to react to it and see how accurate this may or may not be. You already know how the internet be running wild with things and narratives and stuff like that. You can obviously find the video in the description below. And again, without further ado, we're going to get this started. But before we do, my name's TGK. And if you don't know who I am, I host the Mavs pregame and postgame show and a podcast named Midnight Madness with my co-host Sticks. We do this before every game, after every game, and also on the weekends for that podcast. If y'all don't mind considering subscribing to the channel, becoming a potential member, and also liking this video, it means a lot. You know, small channel trying to grow. Appreciate all your support here. It matters a lot to us. And yeah, let's go ahead and get this reaction started. Mike Hoops says Mavs fans are turning on Luka Doncic. Let's go and check it out. All right, let's go.
So Luka Doncic, one of the best players in the world, without doubt. Obviously one of the best players in the world. But
it goes without saying. Like right off the top, hey. But we could say the best. Fair enough to say he's having a struggle this year, but he's the best player. Regardless, in my estimation. But let's continue.
But this season he's not started off the greatest. Look, you can look at his stats and see 28 points, 7 boards, 7 assists, and you're like, no, he's playing well. By his standard, he's not. And also, he's been horrendous in the clutch.
Hey, look, if I say these things, man, if I say he's been horrendous in the clutch, I would get killed on Twitter. By the way, my Twitter's in the description below. But I would get killed by all the Twitter folks if I say these things. I would never say he's horrendous in the clutch, though. I will say that he has been below his own standard. I think him playing below his standard is a fair critique, but I won't go as far as saying horrendous. I mean, the only reason you have a chance in clutch situations is because Luka got you there. You know what I'm saying?
He's been absolutely horrendous in the clutch. And one thing is very obvious watching the guy play, he's still injured. Whatever injury he had in the playoffs last year, his knees are still bleeding every single game. Facts. His knees just bleed. Yeah. He has knee damage. Like, he has some sort of damage in his knee, which is why he's missing games. And the reality of the situation is that he's probably not going to be right this season.
Early on, that is a fear. That is definitely a fear of mine. That is definitely a fear of others. I know he's going to suit up and play against the New Orleans Pelicans tonight. And that is something that we all are fearful of. So I hope it's nothing too serious. But the fact that the knee is still bleeding this early into the new season, when he had roughly about like 4 months off, it is very concerning. So I don't know how we're going to figure this out, how we're going to fix it. But I hope Luke's going to be all right, man.
Health-wise. But that does not matter. The Mavs fans have already turned on Luka Doncic. I have seen so many posts now talking about how the Mavs fans, literally Mavs fans saying trade Luka Doncic, saying, you know, we want Luka gone. And especially when last night we saw them beat the Thunder without Luka. It's all now. This team is better without Luka. This team, if they want to win, they need to go and trade Luka. Trade Luka while his value is high. And again, it's a vocal minority of Mavs fans. But it is the...
I was about to say, like, hey, brother, you're going veering off too far left over here or right, whatever side you want to go on. But I think you have to be careful with taking what one person or 2 to 3 people say online. You also have to see who it is. You know, you got to see what their posts have been like. Because you are going to get these stan accounts, for example, like a Kyrie stan account. It's going to be either heavily against Luka or they'll have some undertones against Luka. The Luka stan accounts don't want Luka to not be on ball, and you know they defend him for every single little thing. It does get annoying from both fan bases, and both of the fan bases would want to the Kyrie Stan fan base wants Luka to leave so Kyrie can have the team. The Luka fan base wants Luka to leave so he can have a better team and a better fan base. And then the Maverick fans over here like, what you say F me for? Like, we want Luka here. So I would say be careful where you're getting your information from. Because especially online, and then you also got those that are trying to divide fan bases online. So whenever you watch something, you just gotta be careful where you're getting these tweets from, and just be careful generalizing, because if it was somebody else, we might find this offensive. I don't find it offensive because I know the true Mavericks fan base is not like this, especially the city of Dallas is not like this. Hell, the homies King and Knight from Baltimore, they're not like this. So people can say what they want, but you just gotta be careful where you're getting the source from. And so far he hasn't provided anything, so we'll see. But I think it's still far-fetched to say all those things that an actual true Mavs fan with some common sense and understanding of basketball would ever say such things like that. I can't find one. And whatever is saying that, they're just not Luka fans to begin with.
The dumbest thing I think I have ever heard. They made the finals last year.
Oh.
I repeat, they made the finals last year. And the only reason they made the finals last year was because a hobbled Luka dragged them to the finals.
Oh.
Luka could barely move in the playoffs. Oh. And he still was putting up 30, 40 in games. He was still hitting game winners over Rudy Gobert. The man couldn't move, and he was still doing that. He was injured. Whereas you've seen other quote-unquote stars.
Mm-hmm.
And I'm not talking about guys with legitimate injuries. You've seen quote-unquote stars when they're like...
Who are you talking about, Jared Allen?
Anytime there's even a minor issue, it's I'm going to sit for all these games. I'm going to just sit for these games,
Hey, my guy sound like Finn Balor. If y'all watch WWE, he sound like Finn Balor.
Well, playoffs doesn't really matter that much. I could play, I'm choosing not to. It's so common. It's so common the amount of players that could play and are choosing not to. And in Luka Doncic, the guy who was putting his body on the line for the Dallas Mavericks, he was injured he's injured this season, he's injured last season. It's like, oh, he plays, that's not an excuse. Would you rather him not play? So I never understand that as a problem where it's like, okay, player hampered by injury tries to play on equals they shouldn't play. Player could probably play at 80%, and sits out. Well, they should just play it. That's the logic. It's the same people that will argue both of those situations. But the guy went 100%, and 100%.
My man's looking at his screen. My man's got all his homework on the screen, man. You gotta come prepared, bro. Review all your homework before you do a video. That way you ain't have to, do a little edit too. You can cut that part out. You know what I'm saying?
Has given everything.
He's finding filler words right now.
He's given everything for this team. And all of it being it's a weight issue. And it's like, even if he lost all the weight, the build he is, if he lost all the weight, he'd lose his strength. The reality is he's hurt. We've seen Luka heavier than he is right now and be able to move. Mm-hmm. We've seen a much heavier version of Luka than the modern version of Luka be actually able to move way quicker than this, play better defense than this. And the reality situation is the guy's playing hurt. And for Mavs fans, I don't think some of them realize, and again, it's a small minority, that without Luka Doncic, this Dallas Mavericks team wins nothing.
Very factual. Very factual. I just want to know which Maverick fans he's talking about. Where are you getting your sources from? It would help if you put these tweets or wherever you got this stuff from. That's what I would like to see, but continue.
And by nothing, I mean they don't even make the play-in. Mavs are going to make the play-in. The Mavs might get the 5th, 6th seed in the playoffs. That's probably what I expect them to be.
Oh, I don't know. I think the Mavericks will still make the play-in without Luka. I think Luka is what takes them from being a play-in team to a top-seeded team. And right now, I can't talk much about that because we're 7-7 right now, but Luka is that difference, He very much so is.
And we saw from last year, they were the 5th seed and they made the finals. Seeding does not matter anymore in the playoffs. With the fact that crowds are as dead as they are, there's no really good crowds in the NBA anymore.
It don't matter,
crowds are as dead as they are. The travel is not that big of a difference or big of a deal because they all have unbelievably comfortable flights. There's enough time between games that they can rest. Home court advantage means zilch. It means zilch. How few game sevens were there last year? Obviously, there was the 2 in the one day. Were they the only 2
I disagree, but I got a point. I'm gonna let him finish this point.
game sevens? The
I think those
the
two.
Nuggets and Timberwolves, and then the
Knicks and
what was it? The Knicks and Pacers. I think they were the only 2 game sevens. So like, home court advantage only matters in game 7. So getting into the playoffs doesn't matter where you are. You're okay. You're okay, and that's what I think.
But yes, that makes sense. But no, because you want to have the higher seed. You saw how the Boston Celtics had just a great layup, a great, a great path to the NBA championship, the NBA finals. You saw the Denver Nuggets had a great path to the championship. You want to have a high seed so you could have easier matchups in the playoffs leading to that championship game. So I disagree. I don't think you want to be the 7th seed fighting tooth and nail just to get in the playoffs and then start every single series on the road. No, hell no. Totally disagree here.
I think the Mavs are going to be trying to do. I think they're probably going to limit Luka's minutes. They're probably going to limit how much Luka plays. But like, to say
it's Jason Kidd, ladies and gentlemen, he's not going to limit anything. But yeah, let's continue.
He's any lower than the 5th best player in the world is crazy.
That
but
is
now
crazy.
you've got Mavs fans that just because he's played a couple of bad games down the clutch that are saying trade him, build around Kyrie, and it's like, man, we have seen what Kyrie as a number 1 option gets you, and it's not good. It's not good. Like Kyrie Irving, outside of Cleveland 2016, has been a big time, I'm not going to say choker, but underperformer. Like, he was bad in the playoffs for Boston. He was iffy-ish in the playoffs for Brooklyn. To be fair, like, he was injured in one of them, and then wasn't great against the Celtics. He had one game, and that was really it. And then he was terrible in the finals last year. But...
Huh? Hold on. Nah, brother. I can't ride with that one, man. I can't ride with that. Like, you got to know the trajectory of all that, right? Without Kyrie, bro, we don't get past the Clippers. Without Kyrie, we don't get past the Timberwolves in that first game. Like, you needed Kyrie, and yeah, he had a bad finals, but Kyrie was a big piece for us. And to say the man's been terrible, like, no, bro, you need a running mate to get that far in the playoffs, and Kyrie was very much needed. That was out of line. That was a bad take right there by Mike Hoops. Bad take number 1 so far.
But for Dallas, if you're a Dallas fan, I get Luka can be frustrating. I get it. The body language can be a bit of a problem.
Right.
It's not going to change.
Right.
That's who Luka Doncic is.
Right.
That's what you're going to get. The defensive effort situation, it's pretty iffy. But, like, the guy's injured and teams are putting him in every defensive action, and he's still being expected to give you a 30-point triple-double every single night. Like, that's just, like... The problem is the expectation for Luka is MVP every single season. And not MVP...
Actually is not. MVP seasons, yes. But 30-point triple-doubles is not our expectation as Mavs fans. The Mavericks now have an actual team that is built properly around Luka Doncic. It's up to Jason Kidd to figure it out. Maybe it's best we go find a big man that has more versatility than Gafford, right? Lively you definitely want to keep, but Gafford you probably want to find another center that could hit a 3 or something like that. But that might be the only complaint, right? Because you want to be able to stretch the floor with Luka Doncic. But other than that, the Mavericks have built a great team around Luka. It's really up to Jason Kidd to be able to solidify it and utilize it correctly. And that's what he takes. He takes the first 20 games of the season to figure it out. But I totally disagree. My expectation isn't a 30-point triple-double from Luka Doncic every game. We're past those days. I want to see Luka Doncic 27 points, 6 rebounds, 12 assists. That's what I want to see. 28 to 34 minutes, max. That's what I want to see. I don't want to see 41-minute games from Luka Doncic where he's scoring 45 and 10 rebounds and 13 assists. I don't want to see that. I don't. I want him to be able to stay healthy and go win a championship in the regular season. I mean, in actual playoffs. Doing all this playoff style numbers and playoff style minutes in the regular season is what wears him out prior to the playoffs. So no, real fans with common sense, with with basketball awareness, will not say the expectation is 30-point triple doubles. Absolutely not. No, sir.
Level literal MVP every single season. The fact that Luka Doncic did not win MVP last year is a travesty.
That is a travesty.
The guy, they won 3 games less than the Nuggets.
Yeah.
What did the guy average? Like 35, 8 and 9 or something? We'll never see anything.
35, 9 and 9.
We'll never see anything. But
we will see it again. No.
Yeah, it's just a mad situation. Like, to be fair, it is a vocal minority. It is making a video on Twitter opinions, which is...
Oh, so he is making a video on Twitter opinions. That is where you messed up, brother. That is where you messed up, man. Twitter anti Luka opinions are not the representation of Mavericks fans. 1000% is not. I live in the city. I also live on Twitter, so I would know the both. And trust me, Twitter's not a great place for source material for a video. I'm still waiting for what you're seeing. I would like for him to post what he saw, but we'll continue.
A very small minority of fans, but you're seeing it more and more. Especially, this is like, it reminds me of back in the day when the Wizards, they would have like good stretches of play when John Wall wasn't there, and they were talking about how, you know what, we don't need John Wall. We're better without John Wall. We're statistically better without him. And then over a long period of time, when John Wall got injured, they went from one of the best teams in the East to terrible. So that's the problem, is you can win a couple of games without Luka Doncic. You can't make the playoffs without Luka Doncic. You can't win a playoff series without Luka Doncic. Luka Doncic is by far the best player on the Dallas Mavericks.
Correct.
And if you think you're going to get anything by getting rid of Luka, you're going to get anything even remotely comparable in terms of level, you're wrong, because there is the only players that are as good as Luka are basically untouchable from their teams, even if you gave Luka. So anyway, yeah, that is the video. We also have to...
There's not one player I could think of that is untouchable, even if you offer Luka. That is incorrect as well. No. No, sir. Not here. I disagree.
The guy is 25 years old. He is 25, and he is one of the greatest 25-year-olds to ever play the sport of basketball, up to this point.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mike Hoops. I left the video. I mean, some of the takes were pretty good. Some of the takes weren't fully informed on the actual Mavericks fan base. But that's kind of 2 videos now that I kind of leave, not taking anything brand new, because again, I am a Dallas Mavericks sicko. So, but yeah, man, I think people need to be careful taking whatever source material you get from whoever, Twitter, and then generalizing it on a fan base. Like that's something you shouldn't do, is just generalize in general. So generalizing what someone said on Twitter as a representation of the entire fan base is so incorrect and pretty bad. But yeah, man, let me know what y'all thought of Mike Hoops' video talking about the Mavericks fans are turning on Luka Doncic. Totally disagree. We are not. It is people just trying to mislead people and give them false narratives and false information. Anyway, man, it's been your boy TGK. Consider liking the video, consider subscribing to the channel, and consider being a member. Again, you can catch me on every single Mavs pregame show before every game and every postgame show for after every game. Immediately after the game is over, we are live, and we also host Midnight Madness on the weekends. Other than that, man, let me know if there's other videos y'all want me to react to. It's been your boy TGK. Appreciate you being here, and I'm going to catch y'all on the next one. All right, ladies and gentlemen, we out.